Hey everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast, and it is a big moment in time. The brand new pre-order for Necromunda is coming up next weekend. So we're going to dive over onto the Warhammer community and check out just what's coming this week. Okay, so the new version of Necromunda was shown off on the big summer preview, and we have been very excited to see what it's going to bring. Now, there are good things and bad things about this. The first is that there are rumors that it's been dumbed down a little bit, that it's made a little bit simpler. But there are also rumors that it's made it way more accessible, so you don't need the 75 different books that were available. But it also means that, sadly, if you had 75 books, you now need to get rid of 75 books, because this is a brand new edition. This is an edition wipe. So a new aura dawns. No, a new era dawns at the Underhive. Necromunda is entering a brand new edition with a brand new core set and updated brand new rules across the brand new board. And it's not much of a board, so we actually haven't really seen what's in the starter set yet. They kind of hinted at some stuff, and this is it. So jump right into the new edition with a box packed full of miniatures, rules, and background lore. I'm very pleased they didn't say packed full of terrain. The new Necromunda Skirmish core set pits 8 House Escher gangers against 8 Goliath bruisers. I feel like there was 10 in the original set on each side. Now, these are new Goliaths and new Escher, so if you've got Goliaths and Escher, buckle up. You've got a whole bunch of new positionals to add to your warband with a bunch of different weapons. So with a brand new game board and broken pipe terrain set included. Now, this is quite interesting. So actually, before we dive any further into the article, let's actually have a look at the board set. So this is a paper poster board, and we can tell it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 squares by probably 18, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 behind the little dude there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so 12 by 18. What does that make it? That makes it 24 by 36. So 3 foot by 2 foot board is going to come with this. We'll have to check out the article and see if it's double-sided, but you get that and 4 pieces of terrain. And this is something I was really interested by. OG Necromunda, right, came with the most terrain, just the most terrain. I'm not sure there's ever been a box more full of terrain. This set obviously is a bit light, and one of the first things we saw was, oh wow, new models, oh wow, new rules, oh wow, no terrain. So this is an interesting one because we've got Necromunda Skirmish, the battle in the abandoned warehouse. But it is just a starter set game, and you do get some very cool models, and terrain is just something you have to figure out in Necromunda anyway, so we can come and pick that up. So 4 pieces of pipe terrain. At least in the last edition starter set of Necromunda, they had markings on the map that kind of gave you cover, so it'll be interesting to see if there's a flip side to this one with the new game board. Okay, so here are the new miniatures. We saw these on the preview. A bunch of interesting stuff here with some really unique guys. Literally some very unique guys over here on the Goliath side. You've got like double claw hands. It looks like you've got 4 different poses with different kind of weapon loadouts that you can fix them with, which does actually make it pretty flexible when it comes to Necromunda. So I really like that. You also get the full core rulebook, sets of gang tactics and campaign scenario cards. That's quite useful. A starter set guide, a construction booklet, 54 condition and status markers. That is this pile of goodies over here. Some lovely yellow and black dice, flavor templates as well, which is really cool. It's unequivocally the perfect way to start the new edition of Necromunda. Unequivocally. So this will be interesting to see if it pans out that way. All of the existing miniatures are fully compatible with the new edition, so if you've got a gang ready to go, you can just pick up the core book separately. You'll also need one of the new gang books too, as each contains all of the updated rules for your factions of choice. So Gangs of the Underhive. This one here, this is like the bog standard, guys. So this is Cawdor, Delac, Escher, Goliath, Orlok, Vansar, the core gangs, then the Paladite Enforcers, the police dudes, the Venator gangs, the mixed dudes, the corpse grinders, the chainsaw dudes, as well as rules for Justicar Courts, hired guns, brutes, hangers-on, and pets. So that's your core Munda experience, basically. Meanwhile, Gangs of the Outlands contains rule for Outcast gangs, Free Ogrins, Genestealer cults, Genestealer corrupted gangs, Chaos Helot gangs, corrupted gangs, Malstrain and Malstrain corrupted gangs, Spira hunting parties, Ironhead squats, and Ash Waste nomads. along with hired guns, brutes, blah, 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 blah. So if you have picked up something recently, you're probably going to need Gangs of the Outline. So Spyros or Malstrain, basically this Hive Secundus stuff, and Ash Wastes is a lot of it's going to be in that book there. If you've got a mixture of both bits, you're going to need both books. Now, I have got a lovely Spyro crew, so I might have to just pick that one up as well. But there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff to play through with the standard Gangs of the Underhive if you've got the standard gangs, right? Then you've got tactics cards and scenario cards. So it'll help to have all of the rules you use close at hand when the action heats up. And 2 sets of reference cards are the perfect tools for the job. The core gang tactics cards contain 18 tactics cards usable in most factions, plus 8 blank gang fighter cards to keep track of your noteworthy gangers. The campaign and scenario card pack is designed to help run a full narrative campaign. Okay, I think we'll have to pick that up and give that a go. And includes 22 territory cards, 24 scenario cards, and 6 rules reference cards so you can easily track gang progress across a series of linked games. I'm old. And in the Necromunda 1995 box set, you had a gang sheet that you filled out. And on that, you had experience and damage and everything. And then you had territories and stuff as well. That made it pretty good, like having it on one sheet. Although, you then had to go to the rulebook and look up what your gang had. So I guess doing it this way, you got more to manage, but the information's right there instead of looking into a book. Mixed feelings on that one, but it is what it is in Games Workshop land. Right. Necromunda Underhive crew boxes. This is the really interesting thing here. So we've got Cawdor, you've got Orlok. So let's have a look at the Orlok ones. So Orlok have got the gang from the last edition with a box of dudes, an assortment of dudes, it looks like, from other expansion sets for them. And if you look at the Goliaths, you've got the same. You've got the weapon juve dudes, and you've got the stim guys, and you've got the standard Goliath guys. Escher, again, you've got the weird stuff that Escher come with, like the needle dudes. And then you've got the core gang. And these guys, who have got separate necks, so be warned, have got all kinds of crazy stuff. The Delac are just very strange. Van Saar, like Van Saar very much. They've got 4 cool grav bikes. Okay. I like grav bikes. That's very cool. And of course, the Redeemers. You've got the Cawdor guys, and you've got some of the Flamer lads. So if you fancy getting started with one of the great houses of Necromunda, a new set of Underhive crew boxes will fill out your gang roster before you know it. Sets will be available for Cawdor, Orlok, Goliath, Escher, Delac, and Van Saar, with each containing around 16 to 20 miniatures from existing kits, plus a house-specific weapons and upgrades set to give you a wider variety of gangers and loadouts to pick from. I'm interested by that. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to that. So Necromunda Zone Mortalis Factoria pipes. Add some rusted and crumbling pipes to your Underhive terrain layouts with a new set of Zone Mortalis terrain designed to match the aesthetic of existing sets. Each pack contains a wide variety of pipes and attached machinery with extra options and larger pieces possible compared to the terrain fat. Okay. Doesn't say whether the problem is now where Games Workshop have dropped the fully painted terrain sets. You never know if the terrain is big or like is done or not. But you've got all the status and condition markers. Makes me nervous how much of these there are. But actually, it's probably okay. Keeping track of who's healthy, who's injured, who's on fire, and who's medically insane, a common occurrence in Necromunda, could be tough when bullets start flying. So to make your life easy, here's 64 plastic condition and status markers. Each double-sided token features a symbol that helps you identify important statuses mid-game when used in conjunction with the new core rulebook. Okay. You've got... is this new? Standard and 50 mils. Okay, right. So there's some 50 mil add-ons there, but otherwise it's all the same. Then, just as we finish out the article, let's have a look and see what's occurring next week. Here at Worm Community, we're infiltrating the gangs of Necromunda to find out all we can about the new edition and the miniatures that come in the new core box set. Okay, fine. Right, we have questions over here. One, is the terrain in the starter set some of the new pre-painted terrain that they brought in for 40k? My guess would be no, and that's okay. But this is it. This is the week where I'm assuming we'll find out some of the answers, and especially as it comes up to pre-order Saturday, where you'll start to see things shown off. We're going to be diving into Necromunda, and we're going to be picking up this box because this is what we want. This is Sci-Fi Blood Bowl. Necromunda is basically where I started. Same with Trips and the rest of the guys. I've just It did not. This is the game that I think takes the least convincing to get people bought in for. So I'm very, very, very hyped to get cracking with that. So you are going to need the box. You are not actually going to need the box. So if you are just getting into Necromunda now, this core set, it's a core set, not a starter set, you don't need. But if you don't pick it up, you've got to pick up the core rulebook. You are going to need that. And you will have to pick up the tactics cards and the campaign and scenario cards, potentially. I would imagine that all that stuff is in the rulebook, so you probably don't need the cards. I like that it's going to come in the starter set. I guess there is a bit of mental load that the cards help with in that regard. So they get points for that. The terrain is interesting. I wonder how much of a game you're going to get to play with that amount of terrain. I guess there's not a huge amount of weapons. You've got flame stuff. You've got a bit of a shotgun going on over here. These guys, okay, this guy's got a heavy stubber. So in a land where there's no terrain, I think the heavy stubber is going to be a quite good pick. And this might be why we don't see Orlok in this box. Can you imagine, like the Bolter team, well, Orlok and Van Saar with that amount of terrain? But at least we know what starter set battlefield it is. I do wonder if that's going to be standard or whether they're kind of going to expect you to expand it to a 3x3 or 4x4. It would be interesting if the size for Necromunda reduced, but you get a lot of interplay with Necromunda if you've got a lot of terrain, so I'm not massively worried about that, but it is one of the questions that I have. Big question I've got is, where is the policeman? I was really hoping to pick up an Underhive crew box for the Palanite Enforcers, as they are in the Gangs of the Underhive book. So the Venator gangs, Palanite, and the Corpse Grinders. Don't worry about Venators, but Palanite Enforcers and Corpse Grinder cults. I'm not sure the Corpse Grinders got many, if any, additional kind of plastic units. It feels like they just kind of got forgotten about, so I do apologize if there's a whole bunch of cool stuff for them, but I don't remember it. The policemen, you've got obviously the standard gun guys, and then you've got the shield guys at the very least. That would have been quite a useful pickup, because one of the big questions that we've all got for Necromunda, and I think this does answer, this article answers it, is it going to be, are all your dudes going to be set? Are all they going to be the same? Do you have to pick from a list of, like, you pick a Van Saar gang and these are the options that you have? I don't think it's going to be preset. By the sounds of it, we are still going to have one of the biggest issues when onboarding to Necromunda, which is, how the heck do I load out my guys? Now, we've gone the approach of just do what it says on the box, play the games, and then figure out that you are probably going to need another box, because Games Workshop does awfully like selling 2 boxes of things, even though they say they don't. Not a lot of terrain in the box set. The box set, look, I'll be honest, I am really excited for the new edition of Necromunda. The box set is not the most exciting looking thing. It's a really interesting one, because the starter set is definitely a launch box. So this is just the step 1. This is not even step 1. This is step 0.5. You've got no idea what Necromunda's about. I think this is probably you pick up a core box. And do you know what? When I was a kid, I got the box of Necromunda, and I had no idea what Necromunda was about, and I'm pretty sure my parents didn't either, because they probably wouldn't have bought it for me, although I assume they looked at the art and thought, this is fine for a 7-year-old. 7. It's a bit lackluster. The models are cool. The terrain is woeful, and I'm interested to see what kind of play experience it is going to be able to give out of the box. One of the best things about the 95 box set is that you got borderline decades of play out of it. You had all the terrain. The dream was to get 2 boxes for all that terrain. You had 2 full gangs, basically. And there was a ton of stuff that you could do with that. I wonder if there is a ton of stuff you can do with that. I think there's probably a learn to play game you can do with that, and then it's off to find terrain. Now, it just so happens that here on the channel, we are all about Necromunda terrain, so this is not going to be a problem. So the starter box is one thing, Gangs of the Underhive, core rulebook, Gangs of the Outlines. If you're not going the starter box route, you will need the gang books anyway for you. You've got the optional cards, and this is one thing that I am quite pleased with, is actually, if you are looking to get into Necromunda, picking up 1 box of corridor stuff gives you, like, your core guys and your specialists, and I think that's really cool. I think that's a really good way of doing it. It does that, definitely decreases the onboarding, and I really like that. Like the Goliath box is wicked. This is absolutely wicked. Boom. I have got my Goliaths, and I've got my super special Goliaths as well. I got my Devastator Scouts, and then I've got the big Stim Jockey guys. That's a lot of flavor in just one box. The price will be interesting. If you think it's what, £35 for one box of Necromunda dudes now, I'm expecting £50 for that. It's going to be more. It's going to be 60, maybe 70, but £50 for that would be lovely. And then, you pick it up from Entoyment or somewhere and get it a bit cheaper. So the gang boxes are wicked. The question is, right, how much of the rules have changed? Is it still deep? Is it still tactical? And just how much terrain are you going to need? Because I want to need more than that. It's very important. Necromunda is all about terrain. The box set does not sell that. Hopefully the rulebook does. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on Necromunda, and stick around with us this week because we are going to have a lot of content and a lot of ruminating about it because I am very excited, and so are the guys. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back soon with more wargaming content. Happy gaming.